We are live on the air.
Yeah, I think I'm starting a
YouTube
streaming.
early on if something wasn't like a legit video.
Okay.
Fake and gay.
All right. It's going to be a test. Hold on. Okay. So, dude. All right. Just for anybody that's jumping in right now, this is our first stream, and we're going to see if it's working out. We're going to give people a little bit of time to come into the chat.
We wanted it to sound a little more anti.
All right. Hold on. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Man, we're living up to the title Midnight Mormons, huh?
Because it's like late night, small hours. Small hours.
All right. You got, oh, dude, we're streaming live, bro.
Cool.
Oh, we're live right now?
We're 32 seconds in.
Holy shiz. They've heard so many horrible things already.
No, actually, I put all of the sound down. So while you were saying your heinous conspiracy theories about humanoid ape men stealing people out of the national parks or whatever, that's your secret's safe with us, dude.
Did you get the part where I said fake and...
No, I just barely turned the sound up right now. So anyway, hey everybody, welcome to Midnight Mormons.
Midnight Normans.
Midnight Mormons.
There we go.
Oh my gosh, look, we got people saying, "Hey, what's up?"
Ooh.
Woo! So hey yo. All right, so we're just gonna have some fun today. We're just gonna have some fun, and we're just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Just chilling with Kwaku L.
Hello.
And Brad Whitbeck. Kwaku, you want to get your water
What's
bottle
up?
Off of the...
Is it? Oh, it's in here, isn't it? Yeah,
It's like very much in the
that's
shot.
right, very much in the
Nice.
shot. All right.
We like to keep it professional.
So
on
we were
Midnight
talking
Normans.
about how Sasquatch is actually... I can't say that YouTube will take down this video if we start talking about the truth.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's how it is.
No. We were talking about how Sasquatch was with David W. Patton seeing Sasquatch. It was just a black guy trolling him. Just some guy showing up.
What if that's how it was? What if that's how that legend started? You know?
It'd be great.
Just Jamal just walked up. And he's
It's like,
I
hey,
am Cain. He was like, oh. Written in the history books.
So
Why
you
is
know-
that the thumbnail of me looking so angry?
because
Yeah, well, actually, that's because on the desktop, that's all that it shows. But yeah, I noticed that just the other day as well, that the thumbnail of our YouTube channel makes you look really angry.
Yeah, I was like, what
Actually,
kind of
we'll just
marketing
let-
tool is that?
We'll just let everybody see it. But the thumbnail of our channel is Kwaku, just, you know,
just being ticked.
just looking angry. You know what I'm saying?
It's because he has no patience.
Yeah.
I do have
pretty
patience. I
funny.
just don't like. Well, we had a fun conversation with a kind of an anti today.
Yeah, with Jonathan Streeter.
Yeah, so,
It was real
that
good.
comes out.
Actually, let's just start out with our announcement. Actually, why don't we just, I can clip this announcement a little bit later on, but yeah, basically, the War of Invitations, which I guess is like the War of the Roses, you know, so we challenge Bill Reel to meet us in anytime, anywhere, on any recorded format that he wanted, in any overpriced brewery or coffee shop in Salt Lake City to talk any of these issues. And what's funny is I thought that challenge went out to Bill Reel, but Radio Free Mormon took us up on it and said, it had to be Wednesday at 6:20 or something. But then Bill Reel was like making like this 18-page manifesto of how he wanted to like interrogate us with a bright light. And Socratic.
So well worded.
Yeah,
So
Socratic
well worded we
techniques.
couldn't even read it.
You know, it was really funny. Remember, I was like, I don't want to have a debate with you because in debates, charismatic personalities win. I want to challenge you with Socratic, this. And there was 18 more pages with a picture of Joe Rogan. And we're just like, yeah, but there's probably one reason why personalities win debates with you.
Oh no.
You know what I'm saying? Because you do stuff like this. And so, anyway,
Well, can we look at the comments real quick? See if people.
yeah,
probably
I was
have
going to
something
just
to say.
jump into the comments really fast. But it looks like in November,
Yeah.
we're going to sit down and have a fun meeting with RFM in which he can bring his buddies or whatever, and we're going to talk.
He did say he wanted to go alone just for the optics of it.
Of
Because it would
being
look better for
3-on-1?
him. Yeah.
I mean, 3-on-1
For him to
that was
school us by
I say
himself.
they
Which
grab a third. We'll have another. It'll be 3v3.
I don't know. I think the optics of him by himself versus the three of us, our age combined equals his right about. So it's maybe an even playing field.
And yeah, and by the way, that's the shark lawyer in Corbin Village.
Yeah.
That's like, no, you get it. You get a team of 4 lawyers, and I want the LA Times to take a picture of that courtroom so they see me and my client versus you and your team, and we still win.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah, we're going to go over some of these comments right here. because each one of these could be their own video, but we don't have time to make all of these videos. But we definitely wanted to address the really good participation that we had in this little community post here. If you guys would like to see our community post, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to have the ability to join and become members of the channel pretty soon. But man, the comments are coming in faster than we can even address them. So anyway, I'll just read through them really fast. You guys just take a crack at them to give it a solid answer or a non-answer, whatever you want to do. But anyway.
Oh, as you're pulling those up, though,
yeah.
Someone was just asking what's going to happen with Stone 16.
I just saw that from Daniel Flinders.
Well, so let's go right down the top.
All right.
So I said, we're getting ready to record again. Quick, what are some questions you want us to talk about? Well, it looks like we're not talking about them. Looks like we are live streaming about them. So anyway, I would like to hear the possibility of the Hopewell tribe being the Nephites. I think somebody shot that one out of the air, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't that Spencer saying not a possibility?
Yeah, just that the Hopewell, the timeline is off, I think, is the key issue there. And
look,
Yeah.
I've not looked into it, but if academics say it's not true, then I'm going to believe it is.
yeah, the Hopewell and Adina, like the language group's wrong.
Basically, like they could be descendants of Lehi. So in that sense, they could be.
Dude, get on camera and just say it, dog. Get on camera
Yeah,
and just say it.
Bring it.
Dog. What do you think?
So hi everybody. I'm Spencer.
He's a guy with actual, like, reading experience.
Yeah.
No, not really actually.
Dude, don't destroy my studio, dog.
I'm sorry.
I know you're thinking, how do we get Chandler Bing on this show? But
Yeah, I'm Chandler Bing. No, so yeah, it's possible that like the Hopewell it's actually really it's really likely that they are descendants of Lehi, of the Nephites. So in that sense, they're Nephites, but they're not like the Nephites of the Book of Mormon. Just so the Hopewell, they line up with like the Heartland theory, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is basically that the Book of Mormon took place like within the eastern United States, kind of the eastern half of the United States almost. For a lot of different reasons that I'm not going to go into, it's a really unworkable geographical theory for the Book of Mormon. I would recommend reading an article by a guy named Mark Wright, who wrote.
Professor Mark Wright.
Professor Mark Wright.
I might be with you.
He's amazing.
Heartland is hinterlands.
Heartland is hinterland. Yeah.
That one.
You guys keep saying that. It sounds cool. I want to read it.
Heartland as hinterland. Hinterland just means like a peripheral land, right?
Yeah. So it's not where the Book of Mormon took place, but there are people from the Book of Mormon who ended up there.
Who ended up in that basic area. Yeah.
Okay, rock on.
Mark Wright, Heartland is hinterland. It's published on Interpreter, so journal.interpreterfoundation.org, and then search for Mark Wright, Heartland is hinterland. You'll find that. That's probably, at least my opinion, just very much my opinion, best geographical theory for the Book of Mormon. So.
All right, rock on. I wish that I do. I'm going to get the a soundboard so it starts clapping. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. And I just realized now I look like Kwaku because I got some LaCroix.
Cardin, you will never look like me.
Savage. But we're both children of God, created in his image.
We are. That is true. That is true.
So want to move on? Quick, the other part of this guy's question was maybe talk about the 144,000. I don't think we got any kind of specific.
Oh, like
We don't have any, like,
the
that's
symbolism
like,
stuff
that's like
in
J-Dub
the
stuff, right?
Yeah, well, the J-Dub's interpreted a certain way. I think it's a symbolic number more than anything. It's not. There's some interesting stuff in numerology you can look into with the 144,000, but it mostly just means like a large body of priesthood men. I think that's my hypothesis on it.
So, hey, who else? Do you have one that you want to answer, Quaker? Or you just want me to pound through them really fast?
Yeah. Oh. Can you guys source some of your theories, especially when it gets into esoteric doctrine more? I enjoy your videos.
Says Velocity 17.
Says
Okay.
Velocity. Look, I have a lot to say about esoteric stuff. It's one of my favorite subjects, and unfortunately, for years, I never really talked about it on camera. But now that I can say whatever I want, I'm not beholden to anybody. I believe in some crazy shiznit. So, all I'm saying, but it's really, really fun and it's really cool. I would love to talk about more, like, esoteric stuff. It would have to be like a Kwaku takeover of Midnight Mormons and just which the wackiest things are said. But let me tell you something. Something is true. It's true. It doesn't matter if it's weird. It can still be true. And there's a lot more crazy stuff out there than we want to even touch because we're afraid of looking weird. But The weird stuff is always the coolest stuff, and oftentimes the really boring stuff,
So
usually hiding something.
what sources can they look at? Like what, without like giving away all of your cool library of secrets, where can they start if anyone wants to look in?
So the most esoteric stuff is literally just the original documents or ancient documents themselves. So for one example, the Epic of Gilgamesh. Just read the Epic of Gilgamesh. Read the Aeneid. Read the Iliad. Read the Odyssey.
Read the Corpus Hermetica. That one's
Really
fun.
good one, yeah. Or the
That one's
Emerald
cool.
Green Tablet of Hermes, right? These ancient works that are considered, pagan or
and
whatever.
the Book of Enoch.
Oh yeah, the Book of Enoch is actually one of the most. I think everybody should read it.
Yeah.
And I even say if you want to read some more great stuff, I'm not saying I endorse her views as a religious leader, but some of the writings of Elizabeth Clare Prophet, especially if you Elizabeth Clare Prophet's writings on the Church Fathers, purposefully hiding the Book of Enoch. Read the way that she compares the Bible, the New Testament especially. She goes through and shows that the Church Fathers believed in the Book of Enoch.
They reference it.
And that Jesus is referencing it quite a bit in the New Testament. And that it's something we should pay attention to. And she shows just a lot about it in regard to fallen angels, in regard to giants, all those things. So I encourage reading. The title of the book is really, really long. But if you just type in Elizabeth Clare Prophet, Book of Enoch, you can go get it on Amazon. It's quite cheap. It's from Summit Press, I believe. It's wonderful. Oh, no, Summit Lighthouse Press.
All right, rock on.
Nice.
Well, then let's
Pamela
have a-
Jesse, currently reading the Book of Enoch now. Enjoy.
Yeah, you guys are on your iPhones on the stream. Rock
Yeah,
on.
man.
Okay, so we got Matthew Kunstler says he'd like to see more guests on the show, similar to Jim Bennett.
Ooh. Can we count Jonathan Streeter as similar to Jim Bennett?
Yeah, well, see, dude, I got to tell you, we actually just had a 3-hour almost conversation with Jonathan Streeter. Really productive. I thought he's a really cool cat. Very even kill, very self-aware. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we disagreed on some things, but I got to tell you, the world would be a very, very good place if it was full of a bunch of Jonathan Streeters.
Yeah. It seemed like he was doing his absolute best to, like, be intellectually honest. Which,
Yeah, and like, I enjoyed the conversation so much because I was like, good faith actor. And I don't mind hearing opposing views. I don't mind learning, the like prophets did something boneheaded at some point in their life because after all, they are human, But like, I feel like I would trust, if Jonathan told me something were true, I'd probably trust it 90%. Like, if 90% of those podcasters out there in the anti-Mormon, ex-Mormon space told me something were true, I'd be like, no, negative 10%. It's not true. You know what I'm saying? Like I have zero trust of you. You dissent. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he seemed like a trustworthy cat. I really liked him. I was impressed with his thoughts. And
the things he thinks of.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Thoughts on things and stuff.
Yeah, he didn't get one of my dad jokes there because he was saying, I was thinking some of these thoughts, and then I yelled, and stuff, and then he didn't quite exactly get that one.
It was great.
But anyway, okay, it says, please go through the CS letter stuff. Maybe you could recreate TITS stuff, Midnight Mormon style. There needs to be a direct offense on the CS letters for the youngins, It's true, we could go over that. In fact, we could just hammer through the Kinderhook plates, the Book of Abraham.
Oh, that'd be good.
So, yeah, that'd be really good. We should do that.
We just had a comment. Somebody saying, can you guys go over Deutero-Isaiah real quick?
Oh, geez, yeah, hell.
Yeah.
Isaiah was probably written by
3 separate people, right? Maybe a committee.
You're
part of
talking
it.
about the old, like, how the Masoretic texts, like, one's in the first person, and then one's in, like the equivalent of, like, the second person in ancient Canaanite, or whatever. I don't remember, but
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
So it's a theory that's been advanced that there are multiple people who wrote Isaiah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I think it was Isaiah himself.
The hilarious part, too, is the people that want to say that Isaiah wasn't written by the prophet Isaiah, it was actually written by a committee of 3 people due to their grammatical analysis and algorithms they've done to choose different types of voices that different people have. When you apply those same algorithms to the Book of Mormon, there's like 64 different people that wrote it, matching up with like the 60 some odd prophets that are claimed to have been written the Book of Mormon. So it's like they only want to apply grammatical algorithms and science to like Old Testament text. You know what I'm saying?
And we have
Spencer, are you
we
gonna
have
shine
Spencer to
some
fact
light?
check us.
What, Spencer?
Hit us up.
Fact check it, Spencer. What is it? I know you're gonna say, oh well, some of those algorithms were problematic because they didn't really work too well, and Mormons read way too much into that. What?
No, that's not what I was going to say. All I was going to say was that we got to remember to relate this to like the Book of Mormon, because that's what this is actually having to do with. They're saying like, what is the Deutero-Isaiah theory? And the reason that they've heard about this is because there's a criticism out there against the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Because they say that the first author of Isaiah, author of chapters like 2 through 40, he definitely wrote his stuff before Lehi left Jerusalem. But then there's second Isaiah, Deutero-Isaiah, who wrote his material like chapters 40 through 66 most often after Lehi left Jerusalem. So the question then is, how did Lehi and his family have access to this material, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a number of different theories out there about how to reconcile this. Some Latter-day Saint scholars basically say that no, there was only one author of Isaiah, that's it. Then there are some scholars who agree with Deutero-Isaiah. They agree with the theory in principle, and then they say, well, what Deutero-Isaiah could be doing is taking material that was originally written by Isaiah himself and then reworking it for his audience, for his contemporary audience. And that's how Lehi and his family could have some sort of access to the material
And
that we find.
that would be actually very consistent with how the ancients wrote. Because, like, for example, I've said this on other podcasts. Pythagoras, he published books for 250 years.
Yeah.
Now, it's not because Pythagoras, the original philosopher and mathematician, actually lived for 250 years. It's because back then, in the ancient Greek and Roman days, his students that kept working his ideas and coming up with more and more formulations, whenever they published their work, they didn't put their names on it because that was considered very selfish, egotistical. It was considered almost like a theft. And if you were to talk
from your teacher that way,
yeah,
right?
to steal from your teacher that way. And apparently culturally back then, if you were to approach them and say, well, this is your work, you should put your name on it. You know, this is a great master's thesis, kid. Go get your master's degree. They'd say, oh, no. This is all fruit of the tree of Pythagoras. Like Pythagoras was the great one. No, this is his work. This is his work. This is his work. And that's totally juxtaposed with our credit-centric society. I work in the movies, bro. Like, there's people that work for free as long as they get a credit at the end title. You know what I'm saying? Like so our credit junkie modern society can't wrap its head around the humility of the ancient philosophers and writers. But that there was a major cultural difference there that makes it possible that, you know, a young learner of Isaiah's might have, you know, wanted to perpetuate his work in his name. Because there's huge chances that the book of Acts was the same writer that wrote Luke and may not have actually been Luke. There might have been traveling companions of Paul that wrote some of his epistles. I believe it's widely believed that 1 Timothy was not written by Paul himself, or 2 Timothy was written by some kind of traveling companion or something.
Biblical scholars basically agree that 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, and Titus were not written by Paul. They're basically unanimous in saying that it was not written by Paul.
Okay, they're going to hell.
Heretics.
Look,
Heretics, all of them.
All I'm saying about these scholars who want to pick apart everything and you know, say people didn't write stuff is we should bully nerds more. And what I mean by that is
gosh, you can't. The YouTube algorithm will definitely take that away. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just look. I don't trust these people. Look, all these people that want to be our new religious authorities, the scholars and academics. I got my PhD in a program that you've never heard of at a school you don't care about. That means you should listen to me because some guy you don't care about published me in a dying newspaper article. And then the academics who don't really have much of an influence just get in their Facebook groups in their circle and just type away, well, this is true. Then nobody's reading it except for the boomers and then some of the Gen Xers. And then the boomers who are still in charge of the colleges hold them up as if they're impressive. So it's like a skeleton holding them up, and like in like 30 years, a skeleton's going to fall and these people are not going to know what to do. Yeah. And we're putting all our hope in people that don't know it's just I'm sorry. If you can't pull more than 30 people to listen to you during one of your conferences, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
mean,
Here, this Julian Peterson just said we should get Jonathan Strader on, so we just did. We actually just spoke with him for a couple of hours. We're going to be putting out those episodes later.
Yeah, we can actually, you know what's kind of cool about this is, let me see, ladies and gentlemen. if I can't just pull this up for a split second.
Hayden Carroll said, "Is that Spencer Marsh? What up, bro?"
Yeah, what's up, brother? Good to see you.
Nice.
Good to see your comment.
We talked him into coming on the show.
Yeah, I'm not very comfortable being here. I got to be honest. You know, I don't like this too much, but
You're
you
our
know.
scholarly consultant.
Yeah, and I'm not even a scholar. That's the funny thing.
More
you know?
so than us.
Liberty.
Yeah. Right.
On track.
You're not a face worker? Okay, so hold on. So anyway, here it is.
Universe is by the standard.
So check this out. Let me see if OBS is going to let me throw this up on there.
And
Where is this? Where is this? We're going to see if we can get this.
Just a quick little preview.
Just a quick little preview for people here that want to see it.
and say, wait a second.
Boom. Yep. There
I
he
don't have
is.
to accept this entire body of this
Yeah.
moral framework.
So boom. There it is.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. So, yeah, we had Jonathan Streeter on today. We're going to be chopping that up and editing that up and doing it soon. Brad, take it away. More comments.
Oh, just a guy named Isaiah was like, "What's up, guys? I'm here." We found Isaiah in the comments.
Oh,
No.
There
you go.
Liberty, what do you think about church scholars?
Whoa.
No.
What? I don't.
Just answer it.
No,
Go ahead. What do
I
you
don't know.
What do you think about church scholars?
I don't know much about them, honestly. I really don't.
Just say they're nerds.
okay. Just
They're
say
nerds and they need to be bullied.
Oh my
my
gosh! I swear. I
According to
swear.
Kwaku.
I don't think that. I
This
don't.
is like Cardin talking about the sacrament meeting where the parent is whispering into the kid's ear. That's what just happened right now.
Yes.
That's
yes.
funny.
nice.
That's coercion. It's coercion.
Okay.
So anyway, keep going over the.
Okay, so we did not get the sangria at Meadows. We got it from a really cool little soda machine that Cardin has. It's vintage. It's awesome. We've got someone reminding Kwaku that this is a PG show. And then someone asking, do you guys have cool stories from your missions? I remember Kwaku mentioning giving a blessing to someone, and he said word for word of her patriarchal blessing.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Dude,
You
that's
guys know about
cool.
that?
No, hit it. That's crazy.
It's actually happened 3 times. I've given blessings to people, and independently, they've each told me that I quoted parts of their patriarchal blessing, and it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. So,
That's
and
nice.
one was
My best friend.
before she went on our mission. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So kind of cool.
That's super.
Yeah, just a quick reminder for everybody that's jumping in the chat. We want to make sure if you want more of these live streams, you got to tell the YouTube algorithm that you like it. So if you could just give us a little thumbs up there,
Oh, yeah.
and make sure you give it a thumbs up.
Oh yeah.
If you
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
subscribed.
Oh yeah.
yet,
Don't you
Give
know
us the
there?
thumbs up.
make
Well, give
sure
us
that
a
you
thumbs up there.
subscribe.
Thumbs up, eh?
Oh yeah.
You
Don't you
know.
know?
So yeah, hit that. Keep going, Brad.
David Nell said, "Who is the self-hating bitter Betty that downvoted this stream?" You bitter Betty.
I like that. Bitter Betty. I haven't heard that one.
Never
Okay,
heard that one
so
either.
let's go to our main comment thread from the questions that we asked before.
Hit it. So here we go. It was pretty good. Here's a really good one. The existence of a god. I think it would be a good subject for all y'all to talk about.
Right now?
Gosh, that could almost be its own podcast.
That could be.
That
Yeah,
should be
that's its own
podcast.
episode.
That'll be
Okay,
real
we're gonna make
long.
that one podcast.
Yeah.
Dark Winter Prepper says, "Stop interrupting, Kwaku." You had a response to that one, Brad.
I do. I think they forgot their comma. It should have been stop interrupting, comma, Kwaku.
Oh yeah, this time stop interrupting, or you stop interrupting me?
They were telling us to stop interrupting you. I think it was because of the Theosophic one. Or no. It was the one for Joseph Smith killing the werewolves. It was when I think they're referring to when Cardin was like, wait, when you're like really going off on like some really conspiracy theory level stuff. And
I don't believe Joseph Smith killed all the werewolves. That's just the clickbait thumbnail. Okay, I never said that.
Dude, seriously.
I wish he had. That would have been a great. I believe
honestly,
it.
that would make like a good movie, just like the
If there was even a tiny piece of salt of evidence, I would believe it wholeheartedly.
Abraham
Okay.
Lincoln Vampire Slayer. I'm telling you,
That movie has more
Joseph
truth than you
Smith
think.
Werewolf Slayer would be awesome.
All I'm saying is Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter by Seth Graham Smith has more truth than you guys realize, but it's okay.
No. Oh no.
So here we got another one that says revelation versus translation. This is another thing that got me second guessing myself, and it's hard for me to wrap my brain around that Joseph Smith didn't translate the Book of Mormon, but was a revelation. Ooh.
I can jump in.
Oh,
on this
jump
one.
in on that one.
because this
dog.
one's going to deal with like that dichotomy of loose translation versus.
Well, not even.
This is all just the Progmo narrative trying to eke its way into the church office building and the CES building. Ooh, no, I'm just kidding.
Here's the deal. Like, you gotta, no matter what way you slice it, if you were looking at this from like an Orthodox Latter-day Saints point of view, from the beginning we have always taken a very unorthodox view of the word translation. I mean,
Yeah.
Joseph Smith, even if he's looking through, Urim Thummim attached to a breastplate and like wrapped in a bow or whatever, and like looking at the plates as the characters are just magically transformed before his eyes to translate. Like that's a revelatory translation.
Yeah, it's always been
And
perceived as a divine intervention,
There's
no matter
always-
how you look at it.
There's always been an aspect of divine intervention or divine means to translate the Book of Mormon,
And-
to translate the Book of Moses, even like Joseph Smith with the Book of Moses, even looking at it like a particular, like, he's not looking at a set of plates, he's not looking at an ancient document. He's literally just like kind of going over the Bible, making revisions to the Bible, and then just getting revelation from God, and just having his scribes transcribe that, as he dictates it.
Yeah, and you have something interesting with all of the records when you look at everything talking about the translation process, especially the ones that were near the time the translation happened. By far the most common way that they refer to them happening is they say that the translation happened by the gift and power of God.
Right, exactly.
More than anything, it's about this power of God than even the spectacles being mentioned or the seer stone being mentioned or the hat, like any of those.
Anything, yeah.
It's the gift and power of God.
It's a revelation. And I mean, Joseph Smith also, kind of has, there's kind of a spectrum of like more mundane translations that Joseph Smith does and more revelatory translations that Joseph Smith does. You got like the Book of Moses, which is a little bit more like revelatory. And then you got the Book of Mormon, which is like kind of somewhere in the middle because he has like an actual physical like artifact that he's translating from.
Okay.
And then you get something like, like it may be in the case of like the Kinderhook plates, where he's literally looking at like a grammar that his assistants made for him, right? And looking at one character and being like, oh, this matches this, Joseph Smith, produced a number of different types of scriptural documents throughout his life, and all of them kind of range somewhere between like a more translation, like a more traditional, like a scholar, like getting
a word for word,
getting his grammar and his lexicon out and going through something. Like there's that type of translation, and then there's literally like, yeah, God just gave me this text in my mind, and you're just gonna dictate it as I receive it from God.
And either way, it's all awesome.
And either way,
and something interesting to think about it is no matter what, Joseph Smith is still a filter.
Yeah, right.
For God. So no matter how you slice this, Joseph Smith is going to be a filter for these words.
Exactly.
As he's putting them
And you
down.
know what Joseph Smith wasn't?
A
scholar.
A nerd.
He would Indian leg wrestle you
And
into
he
the
was in the
ground.
Wrestling Hall of Fame, so there was no way he was getting bullied.
Wait, you know that one,
Everybody
that
with Tartan
one
Feather
quote
would argue that.
you gave us the other day, Brad, where you said, what is the thing about the...
Scholars and warriors?
Yeah, say it again.
Okay, so Thucydides is the one who said this, that if you separate your scholars and your warriors, then all of your thinking will be done by cowards and all of your fighting will be done by fools. Right? Oh. And I think that's awesome.
Joseph Smith he led an army and was a theologian.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty dang cool. He was
a
the
boss.
perfect combination of...
He did
So
not
wait,
start off
say
as a
that.
scholar.
Say that
Yeah,
again.
right.
Say that again.
If you separate your scholars from your warriors, then all of your thinking will be done by cowards and all of your fighting will be done by fools.
Oh, and who was that said that?
Thucydides.
Who's Thucydides?
Some sick Greek philosopher.
Was it
back in the day.
Thucydides?
Thucydides, yeah.
Thucydides.
Thucydides?
Yeah.
Go ahead
Thucydides?
and mock me.
Thucydides.
Dude, did we just have a total Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? Like
Socrates,
so
man.
great.
Socrates.
Wait, can I show you guys my new favorite quote? It's
Thucydides?
because it's from a...
Thucydides.
I always
That's
have
how you
trouble
call
with
it,
the
yeah.
Y's and the I's when I see
Yeah,
it. in
I don't know.
Thucydides.
Yeah,
so-
you got to remember too, the Greek is a dead language. So I mean, we don't even know how to pronounce these.
So I
names.
could be
Like,
right.
Yeah.
You could be right, and I could be wrong. But like, yeah, Thucydides is typically how.
This is a quote from Vladimir Lenin.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, this is gonna be
He's the
golden.
greatest law. Sometimes history needs a push.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Oh
then tell
Oh
me,
my.
Spencer, while we're here though,
Yeah, sure.
I confess that I'm much more Johnny on the spot with some of the other historical elements. The other historical incidents
Issues.
that people argue about
Yeah, right.
over history. Not as much the Book of Abraham. I've actually done a lot of study on it and read a lot of books, but I've walked away from thinking like, okay, that makes sense. So much so that I didn't, I didn't like deep dive into all of the footnotes and everything.
Yeah,
okay.
right.
But how does this whole revelation versus translation thing actually apply to the Book of Abraham? Because from what I understand, like we don't even have the original large scroll that he translated.
Yeah, right.
It was lost in the
may not.
Chicago fire.
We
Yeah,
have
may not.
fragments.
Let's just say this. It's really complicated. Like really complicated how what the historical documents say about how Joseph Smith translated the Book of Abraham. We don't know how Joseph Smith translated the Book of Abraham,
I'm pretty sure the seer stone was involved.
We actually, there is I won't reveal too much, but there is an article forthcoming that is going to be talking more about, whether a seer stone was actually used during the translation of the Book of Abraham. But that's actually kind of beside the point of the issue of where did Joseph Smith actually get the text of the Book of Abraham from?
Yeah.
Was it just coming from Revelation? Was it coming from Revelation as filtered kind of through the papyrus that Joseph Smith was translating from? And is it papyrus that is missing now or papyrus that is extant today? Like the issue is just really complicated, and each theory kind of has its own strengths and weaknesses that you have to deal with right now because we don't have a whole lot of other historical documents that will settle kind of the issue one way or the other for us.
And this is where it's kind of funny. I was saying this in my other. It was just on another podcast, but I'm always like, everybody that wants to go to town and critique the historicity of the Book of Abraham or whatever they want to call it. You know?
right.
I always want to remind them, like, don't forget, like, your team was chasing down and murdering saints wherever they could find them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all of you secular anti-Mormons were, like, so busy Hans Mill massacring and Mormon extermination ordering the people that Joseph Smith was trying to lead that he didn't really have a chance to say how everything was getting done,
Right.
You know what I'm saying, and exactly how it went down, and preserve the documentation. So you can't really complain if there's some question marks out there and how things were done,
Right. And I
because
mean,
a lot of people were packing their bags and running.
yeah,
you know what
right.
I'm saying?
And I mean, even if you're on the run or whatever, like Joseph Smith is historically, like he's really he's really opaque about how he did his translation.
Yeah.
Every time somebody asks him about the Book of Mormon, it's just, it's the gift and power of God, just the gift and power of God. Like that's all he would say, really, Other than that, it's just somehow like a divine revelation plus kind of some translation.
Ooh.
And the thing is that like he's got all these translations, right? The revelatory translations like the Book of Moses, and then, more mundane translations on the other side. And he calls all of it translation. Whether it's more revelatory or whether it's more technical translation, he calls everything translation.
Yeah.
Wait.
And he complained about like the prison of human language here. So like
Is that an actual direct quote? He said the prison of human language.
English specifically.
In his early life, he complained about being in a prison of broken, crooked, and
Are
scattered
you
English.
making
or something
divining
like that.
rods out of my Allen wrenches?
He's succeeding.
Oh my gosh!
It works.
What, did you just find water? Like,
Wait,
what did
Yeah,
you
look,
just
he
find?
pointed straight to the bottle here.
Let's see what happens. Okay.
Oh my gosh!
Okay, look, huh? Nothing.
Whoa.
Wait, there's one more.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We've got a funny little.
That's a Family Guy joke.
Okay.
So we've got a couple of. Oh,
Yeah.
Spilled water everywhere.
Really?
Your divining rods
That's some
did this.
expensive film
Your
equipment over
divining
there,
rods
dog.
did
Like,
this.
The water did not get on the look. It's Midnight Mormons. You asked for this, okay?
well, now get the bottle out of the way of the camera.
Who stole the cap?
Okay.
Oh
so
my gosh, it's like
we've got a couple
babysitting.
of things that have come up here real fast. Do we want to do a lightning round on these?
Yeah, let's lightning round this.
Okay.
Of course, if you guys could just get back in your seats,
Yeah,
we'll
okay.
make it happen.
So someone's saying, I need clarification on Adam on Diamond. Was this area in Pangea or post-Pangea where Noah and his family built the ark on American continent and then landed in the Middle East? I'm confused. I've heard that some of that depends on how you
It kind of
interpret the
depends.
translation on
Yeah,
Peleg, right?
it definitely depends on how you interpret Section 116 of the Doctrine and Covenants. You know, because all the Lord said is that Spring Hill, Davies County, Missouri, is Adam on Diamond because it's the place where Adam will come. Now, some people interpret that to mean like that is like
the Garden of Eden,
the place where Adam gathered his posterity, right before dying and blessed all of them, right? But another interpretation of that section is to say that the Lord is going to now call that place Adam on Diamond, because that's where Adam is going to come.
instead
right?
of in the past.
Instead of like in the past, this has always been Adam on Diamond. Rather now, this is going to be Adam on Diamond. So that's kind of what gets factored in. And then as far as like Pangea goes, I have no clue how.
Yeah, continental drift gets kind of crazy with the timeline of how the Bible works.
Yeah, and
it depends on when you think the flood happened and like.
Right. Well, yeah, and if you think the flood was like a global universal, literal event that like transported Adam and Noah and his family like all the way to the other
These
side.
people want an answer, right?
Well,
Mitt Romney's
I-
give them
I-
an answer.
Neither of these answers really
Look,
matter.
let me
'cause
tell you
they won't
exac-
get in your way.
Let me tell you exactly how it happened.
Oh my gosh.
3,000 years ago, Hillary Clinton was charging towards a Tyrannosaurus Rex, armed with nothing but a bottle of adrenochrome and a monkey wrench. Adam saw her,
I'm gonna pop off.
and he said,
Okay.
I'm gonna pop off.
That is,
Drive
dude, that's
safe.
too much.
"No, I think it was probably post Pangea."
Oh, is that the correct pronunciation? Is Pangea?
I've heard it both ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's none of us were there.
Like Socrates.
Like
Socrates.
Okay. Like
Be
Socrates.
excellent to each other, man.
Socrates.
Socrates, yeah.
Yeah. So
No, I think it was
Bill and
post
Dave.
Pangea. I think the Garden of Eden was probably. I do think it was in America.
Yeah.
I think the flood took them to.
Did the rivers line up? They kind of do, right? Like although they don't need to with all of the
amount of
change.
sunken lands that happened.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
we try to pretend as if the geography we have now is exactly the way it was back then. It should be
That's
like a puzzle
true.
piece.
Oh yeah, especially thinking about Utah's geography being like a freaking lake.
Yeah,
All the way back then. So yeah, I can see that.
yeah. So I think Adam was probably here.
Cool. Okay. Now, Bill and Ted reference, they enjoyed that.
Oh, here's an interesting one. Oh, should we just bust this one wide open right now? It says, talk about MMM. Here it is right here. I'm going to show you the comment. Here we got a comment that says, talk about MMM. Every time I ask a missionary about it, they are hush-hush. I feel like you guys aren't afraid to talk about anything at this point, LOL. I assume by MMM he means none other than the Mountain Meadows massacre.
No.
Right? No.
He means Mormon mommy makeovers.
Oh.
And there was nothing wrong with those. There was nothing wrong. If you
Talking
can
about
afford
plastic
it,
surgery, boy.
if you can afford it, give your wife a mommy makeover. Okay? It's true.
What about I can't afford it? Is it GoFundMe time or what? Dude?
Look, people say, "Oh, plastic surgery." There's nothing wrong with a little renovation on your
Dude, like-
temple.
Oh my gosh. Here's the thing I think.
It's like braces,
you
everybody's
see
got
some
'em.
people go after like comments made by Jeffrey R. Holland about nipping and tucking, and then there's one by Neil L. Anderson where he talks about like the what is it? The selfishness epidemic, I think is what it is, and he talks about like the children's book
vanity or
called
what?
My Beautiful Mommy. Yeah, every time that the brethren have discouraged anything to do with plastic surgery, from what I've seen, it looks like it's in the context of like vanity and like being excessively like prideful about things. So like I don't think
It's not been in the context of like, you can't get braces because God made you a certain way. You
No,
know, it's like,
yeah,
come on, let's
yeah.
get real, dude. So, do you think he's really talking about
Mountain
Mormon
Meadows
mommy
Massacre
mix?
one
You think
shot,
he's
yeah.
talking? Okay, good. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure he's talking about the Mountain Meadows Massacre.
no, you're right.
But we made an awesome segue somehow into nip tuck. But
That was that
anyway,
weird show on FX like 12 years ago. Remember that?
I've never even seen it.
yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. Actually, there was another very famous plastic surgery show about those two plastic surgeries in Beverly Hills, and one of them was a member of the church, like active Mormon guy, right?
Oh,
If I remember correctly. I was one of like the local LA guys, if I can remember. Anyway, so talk about the Mountain Meadows Massacre. Every time I ask a missionary about it, they are hush hush. I feel like you guys aren't afraid to talk about anything at this point. LOL. Yeah, we're not afraid to talk about anything. Actually, the only thing I'm afraid of is the YouTube algorithm. So hopefully, don't say anything that makes it so we
talk about that so much. You are terrified.
Well,
It's because he's obsessed.
I've lived my life just understanding it's a dragon not worth fighting.
First, I want to know why. Why are you wearing sunglasses on a hat inside at night? That's what I want to know.
For the
Because
same
he's a
reason that you're
dad.
wearing drips and a baseball jersey, even though you don't play baseball.
Drips?
Drips. Your chain.
necklace.
Your chain,
Oh,
dog. Your drips.
Drips. Your drips in the
Oh,
plural.
did I just out Gen Z term you?
No,
Did
no.
I just out
No, you
cool
used it
term you?
wrong,
You used it
Cardin.
wrong.
Oh no! Don't tell me I boomered this.
You did.
Oh, that's
It's not
embarrassing.
plural.
Drip is just your clothing.
Oh,
It's like
it's
your,
not
whole, your whole
drips.
style that day. The whole-
Oh, dang it! Oh man,
yeah, this is ice.
your ice. Oh, so the
Altogether, it's
'90s
the
are
drip.
coming back.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. All right.
yeah.
Um,
Anyway, what was the,
the
so
Mountain Meadows Massacre.
Yeah, Mountain Meadows
I have
Massacre.
my opinions. Do you want to start out, or do you want to start out, Kwaku?
Yeah, I'm fine with anything. You can start.
I think it's a stretch to implicate Brigham Young in it. That's how I feel. Like it seems to me like a more isolated incident than to be something worried about like the entire structure of the church. I think it was a horrible event that ended up happening because of like rampant violence against Mormons being something left over in the minds of these pioneers who were worried things like that would happen again. And they did something very, very horrible in an attempt to try to stop that from happening again, right? So a horrible, sad event. John D. Lee deserved to die. I don't know the details well enough to know the other people implicated in it, whether they should have been up for capital punishment as well. But like it was a horrible thing, but I don't think that the church itself is something to really be bothered with. That's my like condensed take.
Yeah. To me, the Mountain Meadows Massacre is one of those things that is kind of like the perfect litmus test of your intellectual honesty and reasonableness and historical breadth of understanding. And I don't know if you know this, Kwaku, because you always know weird factoids like this, but this is a sports factoid, so maybe this is a Brad thing. But there's a guy in baseball, Major League Baseball. You can help me out with this, Spencer, if you know what it is. But some mathematician, Moneyball style, if you remember that movie Moneyball with Brad Pitt, had figured out that, like, okay, of all the players in Major League Baseball, this guy is right in the middle. He's the median player. And it's worth it to have a baseball player that has a batting average and these statistics above this line. Like, you'll have a winning team if he's got a batting average at this or above. And it's called like the Mendoza line, I think it's called in baseball or something, okay? So the Mountain Meadows Massacre is like the Mendoza line of your church history and intellectual honesty meter, in my mind. It's a perfect litmus test. Because to me, the Mountain Meadows Massacre was a complete and total summation of natural consequences of the wild, wild west when people operate out of fear and not faith. And I always say Mormons do very poorly when they operate out of fear or try and be like the world. Perfect example is we didn't have that stupid Curse of Cain doctrine until Sidney Rigdon came back from his Southern States mission and kind of brought some of that Baptist, that Southern Baptist doctrine with him. All right. Just like the Mountain Meadows Massacre, a lot of it was just natural consequences of living in the West. I mean, this is what people don't realize. There's a wagon train. For those of you that aren't familiar with the Mountain Meadows Massacre, it's called the Mountain Meadows Massacre because there was a wagon train coming out of, I believe, Arkansas that was coming out west, okay? And there was already a bunch of roughly, barely settled families out in this territory. And word got out that in that wagon train, there was a gang, a group of Western gang members I think it was called the Missouri Wildcats, they called themselves. And these were the people that had just barely shot Parley P. Pratt, correct? Wasn't Parley P. Pratt the one that murdered? The Missouri Wildcats had just...
No, Parley Pratt was killed in a field. He was stabbed.
Okay, there was. It was rumored that in the wagon train was this gang of a bunch of people that had they just assassinated a beloved member of the church. Come on, who was this, Spencer? Tell us the story.
What are you talking about?
That in the Mountain Meadows Massacre, the rumor was that inside of the wagon train was a group that called themselves, I think it was called like the Missouri Wildcats or something like that, right? Yeah, and so was it Sidney Rigdon that had just been shot? Parley Pratt was shot? I don't remember. But I'm going to pull this up right now. Parley Pratt was okay. I think it was basically the gang that assassinated Parley Pratt. So they're coming out west to assassinate more Mormons, all right? And so unfortunately, out of fear, they basically orchestrated a preemptive attack. Okay?
Wait, you mean a group of people that had just spent a few decades watching their like women and wives get raped in front of their families and their houses burned down and their property
Yeah, I mean,
stolen,
this is
were a little
after
bit
the
trigger-happy?
Hansville massacre. This is after, I think this is after the Mormon extermination order, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, 100%
yeah.
after.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
West, yeah.
you're talking about a group of people that has been terrorized over an 850-mile span of land. All of a sudden hears that the gang that just assassinated one of the most beloved leaders is coming for them. And, oh, it's that wagon train you see over there in the distance. So they orchestrated a preemptive attack that was basically based off of bad intel. And unfortunately, it's a tragedy. There was I think over 100 people that were killed, and ultimately one of the local congregants that had helped organize the preemptive attack, who was John D. Lee, correct?
Yeah.
He was executed by Brigham Young's
Yeah,
order.
Yeah.
he was executed under Brigham Young's order as a blood atonement, right? It was actually I think it was a religious like, this is how you'll atone
Well,
for
the
your
territory
sin.
was a theocracy at that point. So
Yeah,
that's-
ish.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more complex than that, but yeah.
You know, but what's it called? It was it's kind of like the equivalent of the Iraq War is to America
No.
right now.
No.
I'd say like a
no.
war we went to in bad.
No, because John D. Lee
Intel?
wasn't a lizard person.
Oh my gosh.
like Donald Rumsfeld. By the way, if you ever get a chance to listen to the funny interview where Louis C.K. asks Donald Rumsfeld if he's a lizard, it's the most ridiculous thing ever. But Donald Rumsfeld's like,
really?
I serve my country honorably, and I walk down the street, and people want to buy me dinner because they're happy about what I did. And Louis C.K.'s like, but are you a lizard? And he's like, what? What are you talking? It's a real thing.
Oh my.
No one knows this exists. Not to pivot that much away from. Wait, turn the camera on me real quick. You
wait.
search
Oh,
for
yeah,
that
whoops,
card.
sorry.
So, my thought is.
Oh my gosh, there's a 7-minute and 55.
It's the funniest thing ever. This is essentially what Brad was saying. I think that it's a tragedy, but what often happens when people are persecuted, when they finally get their land, they want to defend themselves, and they thought they were going to again watch their people be savagely killed. So they decided to take out the people before it got to them. Unfortunately, it was innocent people. Now, there's 30 bad Catholics discredit the entire institution? No. These bad actors who did this do not discredit the church. Bad people always exist. Sin is sin.
Actually, you want to know the other thing that I just realized too is that this is a really good question. By the way, there is your Louis C.K. asking Donald Rumsfeld if he's a lizard person right there. So yeah, sometimes I feel like when Joe Rogan invites Alex Jones on his podcast, Kwaku, how poor Jamie is like sitting there trying to fact check in real time and pull stuff on the screen just to make sure that whatever Alex Jones is saying is correct. And like, sure enough, there it is. I mean, I'm literally looking at an interview.
It sounds like
with
things that
Louis.
should never happen. Louis C.K.
Right.
should never have ever been able to speak with Donald Rumsfeld.
Yeah.
Boom. There it is.
And harass him about being a lizard person.
But
It's like the Dr. Fauci responds to Nicki Minaj's claim of her Trinidadian cousin's testicles being swollen by the COVID-19 vet. What episode of South Park are we living in? You know what I mean? Like, this is real.
That's true. But what's kind of funny is I think she's removed the comment, but your girl Christy Stevens originally had commented on our video about the cruelty of anti-Mormons. She was the adult actress that was going to do that scene with New Name Noah in the Salt Lake Temple that all the anti-Mormons thought was hilarious and awesome instead of like wildly disrespectful and heinous. But anyway, she had commented when I was saying like, look, this is just getting toxic what you guys are doing. She actually said, Google or look up, I can't remember the exact verb she used, but she said, look up reactive abuse. And I looked up reactive abuse online because I was like, wow, okay, so she's saying look up reactive abuse. That was her only comment. And when you actually look it up, reactive abuse, guess what this is, Kwaku? reactive abuse. Guess what it is? Here's the first link that shows up for reactive abuse. The definition, according to Yana Mental Health. What is reactive abuse? During an act of abusive violence, it's common that the abused person lash out towards their abuser. They may scream, cry, use insults, or even physically defend themselves against the attack. In turn, the assailant may retaliate against them by claiming that the victim is in fact the abuser. This is called reactive abuse, informally referred to as gaslighting. So she claimed that she was justified in doing that wildly disrespectful act because, you know, she was reacting to the abuse, I guess, of her childhood because maybe she used to be Mormon or something like that.
And we all know being Mormon was the worst part of her childhood.
Yeah,
and not, you know, having
she's
sex
guilty
with
of a
countless
wholesome
men
upbringing.
on camera for profit for years of her life.
So, well, I just realized that now we need to start saying that the Mountain Meadows massacre was just reactive abuse. I mean, if we're really going to start trying to say that we're not responsible for our own acts. Oh, wait, no, we don't say that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we don't say that. And we actually executed the guy that was in charge of it. So it's like, I don't sometimes know what to do with these people when they try and bring up.
Yeah, but Christy Stevens is not a reasonable person. No. Like, I'm sorry. She literally bangs people for a living. Like, I'm like on camera.
No, she doesn't. She makes hammocks, dog. Have you ever seen it?
Don't you dare pull that up.
Oh, no, it is so funny.
I don't know what hammock means in this sense, but it can't
so
be good.
Funny.
Carden,
no, if you look
I can't believe you
Christie's
actually looked up her videos.
Well, dude, it was like it's her avatar on YouTube. So I clicked on her YouTube thingy, right, to see if it was real. Because who knows? Maybe it's somebody just faking her name, right? But if you, I can't remember. Is she a
What
PH,
a weird world this is. I
she...
never expected when I was a kid to be on a Mormon podcast arguing with a porn star. Like,
You
what
know
on
what I
earth
say?
has happened?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Did she spell it with a? Did she spell it with a PH or not? I can't remember. Oh, here it is, right here. Yeah, build a hammock. Look, here it is, bro. She will literally show you how to build a hammock
In that outfit. Yeah, she does it.
Yeah, dude, boom. Like, there it is right now. A DIY build a hammock. You know what I'm saying? So that's our friend that we were arguing with Bill Reel and RFM about.
Let's get back to some more comments and away from this with Christy Stevens. Okay.
Kwaku, you should see your face.
We got
I'm just like, oh wow,
It could be a very comfortable hammock, and we all need to rest.
Definitely rested on things less comfortable. But let's.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. So we've got some more live stream comments to go through.
Okay. Here we go.
We went over. Oh, someone said Mormons gave an extermination order against the Missourians first. I think they're talking about the salt sermon from Sidney Rigdon, maybe?
Yeah, but I'm sorry. A sermon is not a piece of legislation.
Yeah.
Is that the way it went down? We have in our little Mormon historian that we're fact-checking.
And honestly, I think the salt sermon was also targeted at a lot of like people in the church too. So Sidney Rigdon was just kind of going off a little bit. He was not. Okay. Yeah, I think it was a little bit crazy. Now let's see.
Apparently
what should I say to my family members who are also church members saying that the mRNA vaccine is the mark of the beast? Tell them they're crazy. And tell them not to listen to what Kwaku and Carden are about to say.
Okay, what did you just say? You have to read that one. I'm sorry, I was trying to.
What should I say to my family members who are also church members saying that the mRNA vaccine is the mark of the beast? From Melon Lore.
Oh, you know, dude, we can't talk about that stuff or else YouTube's going to take it down. You can't talk about.
Never heard of a man being damned for believing too much, just believing too little. Joseph Smith.
What does that even mean in this context, Kwaku?
There is no I in team. Today is yesterday's tomorrow, but today will be yesterday.
So
okay,
things that are true but don't really apply. Look. You're not gonna things as complex as vaccines, which are about science that none of us are experts at, and nobody in the country is an expert at it. People come to their own conclusion about something. Sometimes you just got to respect the conclusion they come to.
Okay.
Okay.
Pretty reasonable thing to say.
Yeah, that was actually way more reasonable than I thought it would be.
But if the
oh, there we go. Okay. So next up, we've got one of the most compelling verses in the New Testament for me is John 21:25. It opens the door wide open for the Book of Mormon and other inspired texts to come forth over time. Check it out. Okay. John 21:25.
John 21:25. All right, rock on. So, this one was really interesting. Jonah Barnes. Look at this. Jonah Barnes bringing it back, all spiritual here. Says, honestly, your conversion stories. Yeah, Kwaku, how did you convert to freaking Mormonism? Dog?
It's on YouTube. I've told it a million times.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You're just getting tired of it now?
No, it's already late. I know I won't do it due diligence.
Okay, that's fine. Fair enough.
Just,
enough.
Kwaku's conversion on Saints Unscripted, in which they removed me from the thumbnail.
Oh,
On my own conversion video, they took me off the thumbnail.
Nice.
Because the show is now run by progmos who want to cater and bow down to those who want to destroy our church instead of standing up for it.
Yeah.
And everything we worked hard to build over the past couple years is now taken down and worn out. It's really sad.
So Daniel Stark says, Bill Reel gave a formal challenge to you guys on his Facebook page. You should take him up on that.
Is anything formal ever done on Facebook?
Oh, we responded to that. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. And
I sent you a formal
We haven't posted
Snapchat.
the video though.
no, yeah, we haven't posted the video yet saying that we formally responded to it. But the other funny thing is, I think you bring up a good point, Kwaku. Is anything done like formally on Facebook?
He sent us an email and tagged everybody, so that counts, I guess. But
by the way, you know what's really funny is apparently like all of the Exmos were trying to repost that on our YouTube channel, but the algorithm that holds comments for review, okay, because it has maybe suspicious links or posts. I have almost a completely laissez-faire comments channel. The only thing that I don't allow are like exterior posts for spamming or advertising or PORN, you know what I'm saying? Because all the time the antis think it's like really funny to like, upload some kind of PORN video and Mormon content because like, oh, so edgy. But anyway, I all of a sudden got a slew of like comments that were held for review because people were like copying and pasting into the YouTube comments apparently his invitation, and so I never saw it until like 3 or 4 days later when I finally checked like the comments held for review. But anyway, we don't submit to terrorist demands, but I know we don't negotiate with terrorists as a policy, right? But he did invite to interrogate us. It was kind of wild. How would you describe it, Brad?
That it was effectively the boiled down version of it is, let me interrogate you or you're cowards.
Yeah.
And bad faith actors, right?
Oh, yeah. And you're not allowed to defend yourself with charisma, I think it was what he said.
That one was to Kwaku specifically.
Oh, he's like,
I mean,
I don't want to debate you because like charismatic people always win debates.
Imagine,
so we will have a Socratic interrogation.
Imagine your friend from high school who doesn't get girls, and he also whenever a girl rejects him, he thinks they owe him a date, and he doesn't know when to stop texting them or stop harassing them. Imagine that guy leaves the church and starts an anti-Mormon podcast and wants to get people on the show. And he's like, okay, so we're going to go on a date, but we have to go until 9 p.m., okay? Because if we don't, that proves that you're just like all the other girls. Hey, like, that's literally what it was like. It was like, dude, this is just losery. Sorry.
So, do you want to keep going through the comments? What do you guys want to do?
Do you want to keep going through the comments you're going through or through our actual live?
Because there's some fun live ones here.
Because the live chat
dude,
is going.
Bust it out.
Yeah.
Let's do live chat, man.
Okay. Do we want to go back? Like, we've missed some. We went for a
Hit
while.
it.
on
Brad, you hit it. You're in charge, Brad. Brad the Apostle 2028.
You are an idiot. So if we go up
as long as our viewers keep going up, I'm fine with just continuing.
Okay. Let's see. We've got.
Oh, sorry. I
People-
found one that's kind of cool.
Go for it.
Another fun topic idea. UFOs, angels, demons, little green men, City of Enoch, 10 tribes. What are they?
Ooh.
Uh-oh, Kwaku.
It's funny you asked, because I've
Bring
answered
it.
all of those. I got stuff from the fall of Atlantis to where Sasquatch came from to proof of leprechauns. And
Are you trying to convince us now, or what are you doing here?
I think those are actually really cool topics, and I also think that we don't talk about them enough because we don't want to be seen as weird. But we got to stop that. The coolest stuff on YouTube is the weird stuff, and let's just own it and be fun with it.
Yeah, I think like when it comes down to it, the Lost 10 Tribes is the one that I think is the easiest to have be like just a thing that happened on the earth, right? Where you have like the scattering of Israel through these Jewish diasporas that ended up sending Jews all over the place. But there's other wackier versions of that could involve maybe going beyond this Earth.
You mean into the hollow Earth?
Like Kwaku's hollow Earth theory.
I'm not saying that's actually what it is. That's just.
Hey, what was the latest thing about redheaded giants being like Viking?
My theory about how redhead. So a lot of Native Americans have a ton of stories about fighting redheaded giants, especially the Native Americans in the Nevada region, going back well beyond the 19th century. And that's without getting into the Afghani soldiers who saw the redheaded giant in Kandor who killed their buddy in 2001. Not Afghan soldiers, U.S. soldiers. Yeah, that's all interesting things.
Someone says the city of Enoch is Area 51. That's a fun comment from this commenter here.
Hey, wait, he's got to finish talking about
I don't believe it, but
giants.
I'm intrigued.
Okay.
He needs to finish talking about redheaded giants.
But my theory is, if you look into Viking religion, the Nordic people were obsessed with giants. Giants played a huge role in their religion, and every culture of the world has believed in giants at one point. So the interesting thing is Native Americans also have a big thing about giants, but both talked about red-headed giants in their history. So my theory is that the Vikings, because we know the Vikings came to the Americas, but Jews can't because the Book of Mormon's fake. Anyway, we know the Vikings came to the Americas. My theory is that some were being chased by the red-headed giants. They sailed over here, the red-headed giants followed them, and then when the Vikings were able to disperse in the American lands, the red-headed giants were then the Native Americans' problem.
All right, we got a moment that just happened in our channel's history, my friends. We right now just have to give a big fat shout out to Nathan H, who gave us our first super chat. Thanks for the super chat, my friend. He says, you guys are incredible. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, sir.
Nathan H.
That is awesome.
We will sing your name if you give us a super chat today. I will literally just sing your name, Nathan H.
Here's a fun question here.
Okay.
Who would win in a fight, Joseph Smith or Muhammad?
Oh, dude, no. I am turning down the volume.
There
is no way.
Let me tell you my answer. They would join
Next
each other
question.
in the truth. I think Muhammad was inspired. I think Muhammad saw an angel. And I think that the Quran is like writings like that came down later from that, right?
Okay, so you think they would be buddy-buddy?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
What's wrong with that?
Okay. All
I
right,
ain't saying
good.
anything.
I'm moving on to the next question.
They'd be homies. That's what I'm saying. They'd get
All
along.
right, I'm down with that answer. Okay. What? I've never seen more.
Everyone in the room is like, don't say anything. Oh my gosh.
Do not say
That's
anything.
funny, man. Relief Society president in the stake is in office now. Ooh, I didn't know that. That's cool. Rock on. And you had some more. Keep hitting it, dude. Keep hitting it. Oh, by the way, if you guys have any questions, super chat us, and you go
How
straight
long
to
is
the
this going
top.
for?
I'm getting lost because there's
I said as long as
so
we keep
many.
growing in viewers, we'll do it because I want to see how high it gets. But we keep growing, dude. Every 10 minutes we get
I'm
another
so
10
tired.
people. Yeah, we're getting pretty exhausted here.
Yeah.
We're not lying. when we
Truly
say it's
Midnight Mormons. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. We'll go another 10 minutes. Dude, we got 10 minutes in us, bro.
We got 10 guys. We got 10 minutes in you.
UFOs. Okay, I just saw the UFOs.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Why can only some women receive the priesthood is one that's popping up.
Okay.
I wonder what they're referring to when they say that. Are they
Yeah,
talking
clarify your
about-
question and we'll answer it.
I think I know what it's referring.
Yeah, I think I know, but I want to make sure we're right. Let's see. Some 10 tribes stuff.
Let's get
That
Tanner
one's an
Guzzi on the
answer.
show.
Who's that?
Tanner Guzzi. He's a men's aesthetic coach.
Okay. Oh, yeah. By the way, dude, you never finished your Redheaded Giants thing.
No, I did. That's what I think. I think that the redheaded giants were attacking the Vikings. And when the Vikings came over to the Americas, the giants chased them over, and suddenly Native Americans then had to battle these big ginger bastards. And I think that just was like the real fight. I think. Anyway, you can't deny that giants are a big part of both people's history, and I don't know why we try to ignore that
Oh,
stuff.
we got a correction that the person who was asking about the Mormons doing an extermination order first says that they're talking about the 4th of July speech against the Missourians. I actually haven't read that one, so I'll have to read up on that before commenting.
I think, isn't that where some of the wording of the original praise to the man that had to get changed out of the hymn book said, where it said like,
Long
and
may his
the-
blood, which was shed by assassins, stain
Stain
Illinois,
Illinois.
while the earth lauds his fame.
yeah, well, no, but there was also another one where it said, yeah. Anyway, there were some like hymn verses that were like. Anyway, we got another super chat here. Daylight 1209. Thank you very much for the super chat. It says Ezra Taft Benson, communism, BY sexiest prophet. So
She's answering the questions. Nice. Someone was asking who the sexiest prophet was, and she's
Ezra Taft Benson. Wow, we got to pull that up. Okay, so
Sexiest prophet.
Daylight 1209.
sexiest prophet. Like, do we have to stick with Latter Day
okay.
prophets
Do
on
You guys
this
know
one?
that Joseph F. Smith was ripped?
Really?
Have you seen the video? Have you seen the picture of him on the beach?
No.
He was yoked. As an old man, he was yoked.
Oh, sweet.
What?
Look
Really?
him up. Joseph F. Smith on the beach.
Oh my gosh, he had a mission to Hawaii.
No, click on the picture. Click on the first picture there.
This right here.
See if you can
Dude, he was ripped.
look at that guy. He's yoked.
Holy crap.
Dang.
Yeah.
What the heck? Okay, wait, we're opening this up. Okay, so wait, hold on. Open up link in new Tippy Tabby. Right here. Holy smoke. Joseph F. Smith was yoked. Look at that.
Yeah.
That brother
Dang.
was, dude, he's like a Viking warrior, man.
Yeah, he's in
Yeah,
California.
ready to
here.
take
Look
on
at
the
that
Giants.
bicep, dude. Look at that bicep.
That
That's
guy,
crazy.
that guy was in shape.
Wow.
That's what the
Nice.
early prophets were. The early prophets knew how to. They were ready to fight.
What was your quote again? If you separate the scholars from the warriors, your wars will be fought by stupid people, and your books will be written by wimps. Or what was it?
Your
again?
war.
Yes, less eloquent version.
Yeah, it's the gist of it.
You know.
Yeah, your thinking will be done by cowards, and your wars will be fought by fools.
Wow, dude. Well,
Close.
Look, apparently he was a surfer too. Or wait, no, I don't know. Maybe that's just from the same book. Okay. Anyway,
Okay,
Keep going.
we've got another. Somebody was saying, in response to RFM, that he did in fact invite 2/3 of apologists he called onto his show. It seems he has the receipts. He made a pretty big deal about him lying about it or something.
Whatever.
So I mean,
What was your quote that like
Oh, we handled that today too. We
the
called him.
prideful?
Yeah, we called him and we're working that out to actually have us all have a big dialogue in person and debate thing.
Yeah, but it's got to
And-
be in person, baby.
And I think they're misinterpreting what we were saying anyway. It's like we weren't saying that they had never called about the show. At least the way that we understood things, they were like talking about this is the show specifically. So we called people who were involved in this is the show, right? So I think maybe there's some crossed wires there. But yeah, we called apologists who were involved in this is the show specifically. So, but we talked to him about it. Talked to RFM, probably got something figured out.
I challenged Tanner Gilliland from Zelf on the Shelf to a boxing match. I do. I challenge you. You can accept, huh? You can accept.
That would
that's true.
actually be hilarious.
If we were using,
We're probably the
the
same
reason-
weight class. He and I.
Oh, that's true.
You
What- is
probably
that the
are,
wimp-
yeah.
Is that the wimpy little people class, or what is that?
Hey, I can outrun anybody in here.
I can
Maybe except for John.
Maybe except for
That's not a racial thing because they're both black, but I think I can outrun.
Oh, okay.
What's up, John?
So the second anointing person clarified. She said, "Why can only some women receive the priesthood? I'm talking about how the second anointing gives women the priesthood. I don't know if the second anointing is like documented well enough to have that be clear. Do you guys know?
We're gonna move on. I do have to say though, this just came up about 30 seconds ago, so I'm gonna put it back on. There is actually a straight up Brigham Young in sunglasses. What is this called?
Yeah.
The thing that goes on the back of your
pop
phone.
thing.
What's called a pop socket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop socket
As you're,
grip.
as you're looking at that pop socket, people can check out the Fair Mormon article on second anointings to learn more, I guess. Yeah, I'm not super well versed on that one. So, any thoughts from you guys?
On the what?
Second anointing one, giving women the priesthood. I don't.
I ain't talking about the second anointing on camera, man.
I know. I think I just don't know enough about that one to give a satisfactory answer. Sorry
don't-
about that.
I'm yeah, that's not thing. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah. Okay, we've got super
another
chat,
super chat.
from F.W. Willis.
Read it, Kwaku.
Good to see you again, man. It's been too long.
Oh, F.W. Willis, let me right in here. He says, talk about dark skin. Oh, we got two more. Okay. Dark skin curse in the Book of Mormon being way to explain how dark skinned people in America before Europeans, but after Noah's flood. Interesting. Okay, love you guys and your content. Can I get a best quick? You're such a savage.
That's from you, Carden.
Oh, really?
Usually
Yeah.
It's like mid laugh.
It's like mid laugh. It's like super high pitch. It's like
like-
you're such a savage.
So
Like,
you're such a savage.
yeah,
that's exactly it.
that's awesome.
That's funny.
Talk about
The dark skin curse in the Book of Mormon being a way to explain how dark skinned people appear in America before Europeans, but after Noah's flood. Okay, so that's the one.
Interesting. I think they're saying. That's a very. Please elaborate on that one, because I think you can. I think any sort of dark skin curse, like coming from Curse of Cain, I think you can disprove that even without like just biblically you can disprove that, right? Like
Yeah.
Moses' wife, Moses married an Ethiopian woman.
Yeah.
He was sealed to her for eternity. I mean, Asenath was Egyptian.
There's a lot in that question.
Wait,
that's-
who married an Ethiopian woman? Joseph?
Moses.
Moses did, and then Joseph married an
yeah.
Egyptian woman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
I know,
and so,
I know
like,
about
there's-
Joseph.
So the whole you can't. They're mixing with the seed of Cain and the blacks. Well, 2 prophets did it, so I think it's fine.
Yeah.
He's clarifying. He's clarifying. He's saying
You're in
only
good-
survivors of Noah's flood were on the ark. Curse of Ham explains dark skin in the old world, but not new. I think that's easily solved by like migration patterns anyway. Like, we know enough about Native American DNA to know that there were migrations from Asia across into the New World. I don't think any of us on this show think that the Americas were like some unpopulated place when Lehi and his family showed up.
No.
Yeah, because
So,
and we know it's not, because within like 29 years of Book of Mormon history, within like it was either 29 years or else 3 generations or something. Like they're talking about wars of hundreds of people, and if you have a gestation period of 9 months, even like the most fertile of Irish twin baby makers would not be able to straight up, you know what I'm saying,
and
produce the population
You have people
necessary to have those wars.
Yeah, and you have people talking about like being direct descendants of Lehi, which why would they have to say that if only Lehi and his descendants were there?
And also if that
Right.
weren't some kind of weird, strange prestige thing or whatever that
Yeah.
we're trying to. But I figured out, I remembered why I put this Brigham Young thing up there was because our super chat that said that Brigham Young was the sexiest prophet.
Oh, that one's pretty good. That one's pretty
You know
good.
what I'm saying? Yeah, right
David
there.
O. McKay was a really handsome dude.
David O. McKay?
He was really good looking.
Okay, cool. Hold on. We'll check that one out. So David O. McKay was really
Thomas
good
S. Monson
looking.
Young is very handsome as well as President Uchtdorf.
Yeah, until
Is
I
he
found out.
prophet yet? Oh yeah, I guess if we're going by all prophets, seers, and revelators, that opens up the playing field
Wait,
a
who
little
did you
bit.
say-
B. Lee, not too much.
Who'd you say was a handsome devil again? Kwaku?
David O. McKay was a good looking.
David O.
Even
McKay.
into when he was prophet, he was relatively handsome.
David
Oh,
O. McKay.
Oh, guys, we've got someone saying, guys, can you give us a gun show the way Ben Shapiro does? Show us your biceps.
Show us your biceps, Kwaku.
Also, y'all should talk about Ezra Taft Benson's anti-communism crusade.
Yeah. Oh, dude, actually, he was a good-looking guy. Holy crap. Look at this.
Oh, nice.
So that's when he's old. It's going to be zooming through. Hold on. Actually, I'm going to reframe this. Give it a second. I'm going to be reframing this. So you see it
I
all.
can share my douchiest shirtless selfie with you. It's the
Okay,
best I
give
can
it a
do.
second, though.
Yeah,
So
go with
look, here's
that.
David O. McKay
Everybody says no.
when he's old. Look at him as a young man. He's a handsome dude.
He was a good looking guy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, okay. Okay, what's your most shameless, awesomest shirtless selfie?
Well, we're
Show
doing
us.
we're doing our biceps. You guys,
We're doing our biceps. I mean, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt right now. This is going to be really unexciting. Like
Okay.
a gun show.
Wait, does Ben Shapiro really do gun show stuff?
Ben Shapiro's kind of cringy.
Hold on, I'm gonna look this up in real time.
Well,
If Ben
here's the
Shapiro
thing.
does the gun show.
The thing about the CES letter, folks, is that the president
Dude,
Obama.
it's not
was-
Porky Pig. It's Ben Shapiro. Oh my gosh, he does. Look at this. I just Googled in real time. Ben
Wow.
Shapiro gun show.
He's got surprisingly
Holy
good biceps there. Is
crap,
that not
look at
photoshopped?
that.
Like,
Why is he on a webcam from 2006?
because that's all he could afford in 2006.
Look at the gun show.
We're getting Do It, Kwaku.
Wait a second. What?
She's
the-
demanding.
I hate these advertisements. Dude, look at this. He shows up to the gun show, man.
Dang.
Straight up dreamy, dude. Like, wow. Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the gun show, brother.
Okay, so give us your gun show, bro.
Boy, these are just such. I only have the douchey shirtless selfie they send to Liberty.
Okay.
Here's a douchey.
Oh!
Oh, dang.
Ripped.
That's the worst I got.
Ripped A, dude. Ripped
That's the best
A.
I got for you that I sent.
You know what I'm
Nice.
saying?
Oh, we got Joseph was clearly the sexiest prophet of this dispensation.
Oh, he was handsome. All the girls said he was handsome.
There's a lot of stuff like that fiction stuff when they talk about like his hooded lashes and stuff. It's ridiculous.
Oh my gosh! Please don't tell me somebody wrote an actual romance novel with Joseph Smith.
He
in
looks
it.
like
Oh,
Mimi's
yeah.
David O. McKay looks like Mimi's husband. That's so true. He does look like Eric. A young David O. McKay looks like Eric Bascom.
Who's that?
Mimi, the woman on Saints Unscripted, one of my good friends, who was actually supposed to be Brad's role, and she drops out. Remember, we had to bring Brad in right before we shot.
Yeah.
Brad's whole involvement in this is because Mimi Bascom backed
out.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, let me see. We've got another.
Yeah, he's a good-looking dude.
So we've got.
Yep, Joseph Smith. He was a good-looking guy. We got to give him credit.
The prophet of the dispensation. He's got to be.
Okay.
I think he had to be because he converted so many people. I'm sorry. I think he had to have some looks. You know.
Yeah, check out those eyebrows.
Jeez, man. Don't burst into song, bro.
Timothy Chalamet.
Praise to the man.
He gives him Timothy Chalamet vibes.
That's funny.
So we've got, do you think reincarnation could be an option if we want a do-over? Perfect judgment and kingdom placement, but undiagnosed ADHD or other issues made the celestial kingdom just out of reach. Oh, that's an interesting one.
Hey, wait. So look, Daylight 1209 asked for a gun show.
Yeah.
And we never gave it to him.
Okay.
I gave my part.
Okay, give him
Okay.
a gun show. Gun show.
I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. This is the most useless
Dude, how do you
on
do
a black
How
background.
do you do a gun show? Do you just go like this? Just go like, wait, hold on. You have to get like, rip him up, right? Like,
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
wow, live streams. That's probably gonna get clipped.
Joseph
That was
Smith was actually hot, I'll admit. That's great.
So, here's an interesting question.
Someone said the
Defending
eyes were
Zion.
burning, but JK, you're looking good. Quite
So,
Nice. Harry Henderson.
hey, what do you think about this one? Because we were talking about this today, and this might be a good way to almost end the live stream. Just so you know, anybody, if you just joined us, throw us all your super chats. We'll answer in the last 5 minutes any super chats we get. All right. So if you got any burning questions, make sure you get them out of your system. Send us some super chats right now. In the meantime, this last question I got for the group at large. Kwaku, Brad.
Yeah.
Defending Zion asks, when we going to change the name of the channel? If not, why not? So I assume that they're asking about the fact that this is Midnight Mormons, and Russell M. Nelson said, we should try and not use the term Mormon when referring to the church. Well, Fair Mormon was in the same quandary, and they didn't change for a long time, saying we're not the church. You know what I'm saying? So we are not the church. However, if we want to try and be, I guess, respectful of the cultural colloquialism avoidance or whatever, then fine. We'll change it. I was thinking Counterpunch LDS because we don't start fights, but we just end them.
Oh my
you know
gosh.
what I'm saying?
Well, officially on the church website, it does say that Church of Jesus Christ or Latter-day Saint is preferred, but Mormon is acceptable.
Yeah, and when you look at what the prophet said, it was not just saying Mormon
Midnight
is,
members? What about Midnight members?
Midnight
That
Mormons
sounds
is good. I think we should keep it.
Yeah, I like it. And really, when you look at it, the prophet said that when we disassociate the name of the church, like when we disassociate Jesus Christ from the church, that's what's really a victory for Satan. It's not just saying Mormon. So I think Midnight Mormons is an all right thing for us to be using to help people recognize what the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints kind of teaches in an online setting when they're like not ready to listen to a prophet yet, and then they figure it out and go
So
listen to the right
here's
source.
two. We got one more super chat. FW Willis says, you brushed off my question. DNC 77.6 says Earth is 7,000 years old. Land bridge migration was 10,000 years ago and unknown to Joseph Smith in 1830. Can we read
And his
more?
original question was,
Skin curse. I'm not seeing the rest.
it was, let me pull it up. It was worded a little bit. Talk about dark skin curse in Book of Mormon being a way to explain how dark-skinned people appear in America before Europeans, but after Noah's flood. I have seen no evidence to suggest that that's why the dark skin curse was part of the Book of Mormon.
And by the way, aren't we misinterpreting that all? I thought there was like a mark of the curse didn't necessarily actually mean the skin the first time around or something like it.
That's all. I think that's a whole episode we got to do.
Yeah, we should do an entire episode on it.
By people trying to make it sound like 1960s to early 2010s racism, and it's just like I don't know. It just seems like mondo presentist arguments where people just try and superimpose social justice political arguments upon an ancient religious document that I just feel is a little bit presentist for me. But actually, we're going to do some work, FW Willis, and see if we can't make an entire podcast out of that. We thank you very much for the super chat and the participation.
Someone asked about Stones and Continue as well.
And FW Willis, feel free to message us any more specifics that you have, because you've got it looks like you have a lot of specifics that you want covered. So we don't want it to look like we're brushing you off just because we're not addressing some of the things that you've researched and you want to know about. So send those our way.
Those when it's not midnight.
And Scott Sanders says, "Hey guys, check out John Worrell Keeley comments in chat." I didn't notice any John Worrell Keeley ones. I'm looking up really fast, but he obviously wanted to have some of his friends' comments shouted out. But I didn't see any of them, so sorry. Hey, if John Worrell wants to super chat us and highlight him, you can, but they're using by pretty fast.
Can you try Command F and see if John Worrell shows up?
Yeah, sure. Let's try that.
Oh, Keith Lott. Hey guys, you ever talked about the Exmo that claimed Joseph Smith came to him in the Salt
that's
City
what I was
Temple
going to say.
Told him to
It's a script idea.
Christopher Nemelka?
What? You know about this?
It's a real dude. You don't know about Christopher Nemelka?
What
and
is
the real
this?
Illuminati? That's a not a conspiracy. He calls his group that. He went on Sean McCraney's show and said that Joseph Smith appeared to him, and he was a security guard or janitor for the apostles, and Joseph Smith appeared to him, gave him another testament, and there's like a whole book. Dude, I've been really learning about the new Mormon offshoots. Okay, we got Christopher Nemelka, we got the British dude who gave us the Book of Jeranek, we got us Phil Davis, the chocolatier who just started the QAnon Mormon religion. Like, I'm not kidding. Like all this stuff is happening.
Wait,
a chocolatier started a new
real?
Mormon offshoot.
Okay, wait. Okay, tell me these three. I'm gonna pull them up on the screen really fast.
Okay, Christopher Nemelka.
Okay,
he gave us. Well, he translated the sealed portion. It's real. This is all. Yeah.
I am literally just doing this as a hot take. I hope this doesn't. Oh wait, I've seen this dude's picture.
Yeah. The handsome, Danish-looking dude.
Okay, so I looked up Christopher Nemelka, sealed portion of the Book of Mormon. So it's this cat right here. Doesn't he look like the dude in a movie that runs some retreat out in the desert that you think is totally going to be some?
This is the guy who thinks he's Hiram Smith reincarnated.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? My claim to being that is better than yours.
You know who he kind of reminds me of? Who's the guy we watched who had that whole he's the intense. He tried to make the new Book of Mormon videos. He's the intense actor. He was exposing the BYU professor. He always had the American flag behind him with really intense music.
Oh, Darren Southam.
Yeah.
He does look kind of like Darren Southam.
I think he and Darren Southam should just have like a testosterone off in a room. Just put them together and just so you can outman the other man.
So this guy straight up says that Joseph Smith appeared to him in a vision to translate the sealed portion.
Yes. This is Christopher Nemelka. So after Christopher Nemelka, then you got Denver Snuffer, obviously, who's probably the most successful new Mormon offshoot guy in the past couple of years.
Really?
If you pull up any picture of him, he should be sideways.
I would say he has a legitimate
Wasn't one of the
religion.
Zelf on the Shelf people a Snufferite person or whatever?
Click on the picture of him that's sideways.
This one?
That is Denver Snuffer. That's how he has his picture on his website.
Why does he have it sideways?
I think it's like a joke about being internet illiterate or something. I don't know exactly why it is.
I have no clue. So that's Denver Snuffer, and then you've also got Phil Davis.
So this is Denver Snuffer.
Phil Davis. Okay, so there's a place I used to take girls all the time, on University Avenue called Taste, which that sentence itself sounds really bad out of context. But
seriously,
it was a really good dessert restaurant on University Avenue next to BYU. It was co-founded by Phil Davis, the chocolatier. He just started his own Mormon religion.
Really?
Called Doctrine of Christ. They even have a YouTube channel. And they're about to do a movie in which they're claiming Brigham Young had Joseph Smith killed to corrupt the church. So,
gosh.
What?
Yeah, it's the first one there. Yeah. There's
that sounds like a cool freaking movie, though.
Oh, hey, it's a Peggy Fletcher Stack article. The girl that can't get any of our attributions right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And Peggy Fletcher Stack is just someone that makes me like them more.
Oh, really? Okay, so who's this cat? I want to see a picture.
I couldn't really find a picture of him when I looked up Phil Davis, but
look at this. A new Mormon religion has taken QAnon conspiracies and canonized them as doctrine.
Oh, guys, we've gotten 2 more super chats as we're going through these.
Let's hit it.
Okay, so we've got, would y'all ever debate John Dehlin? Love your channel.
Yes, but he is absolutely mortified of us.
We almost had him on the show. He
No. We never would have gotten him on the show. He reached out back before he thought we weren't a threat. And once he saw the 3 podcasts where we shredded him, he was so desperate to get out of having to debate us that's why he created the I'm afraid of Kwaku and the memes narrative. John Dehlin is an absolute coward. Mrs. Therapist on the YouTube channel, you know what I'm saying, has literally worked it trying to say, why don't you get on? And apparently, I guess she had some conversation with Nuanso that she says that they just want to be able to rip on the things we say. They don't want to argue with us. And I got to tell you, William F. Buckley for years never had a debate with one of the liberal talking heads that was always saying that he was intellectually superior to William F. Buckley until like the day that he died. And then somebody always said, like, why did you never get him on your show or be able to be on his show? And he looked at the reporter and he said, why does the bologna avoid the meat grinder? You know what I'm saying? And let's be honest, why he will never come on the show because John Dehlin is a cowardly paper tiger. Like much of ex-Mormonism, anti-Mormonism is a cowardly paper tiger. Their prophet is the biggest coward / paper tiger. Anytime, anywhere.
Okay, we want to respond to a couple more.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Price
Okay,
breweries.
we've got
Scott Sanders. We got to respond to Scott Sanders.
Okay, cool. Hit
yeah,
it.
and then we've got Jacob Mayberry, sing my name, all caps. So we've got to do that.
Okay.
I've got a tune in my head right now. It's Jacob Mayberry.
Oh, that was very country.
It was.
Oh,
It's
I have one.
One more time. Hit it.
Jacob Mayberry. That's what I got.
I was thinking Jacob Mayberry.
Wait, let's see if we can harmonize here.
Jacob
Wait.
Mayberry.
Hold on. Jacob.
Mayberry.
That was pretty
How was
ill.
that? How was that?
That was
That
not-
was worth about
sick.
75 cents.
That was not the worst thing I've ever heard. Okay, the
John
reincarnation
Worrell Keeley.
person, real quick.
Well, John Worrell Keeley has been commenting a lot, but we haven't been able to get around. And so Scott wants us to pay. Man.
Where are we missing it?
Says, so no reincarnation possibility at all? Sigh, that's okay. I love you guys. Says Sherry Goodman.
Okay, so Sherry, on reincarnation, here's where I'm at right now. I don't know if this fits super well. I do think that it sounds like there's a lot of progression that's going to happen after we die. Like there's a long time before we become like God, right? And so the thing that I've wondered about with reincarnation is if there's a possibility of it for people who go through outer darkness to have an opportunity again in an...
So Cain's coming back as a squirrel to try and do things better.
I don't know.
The second time,
No, not like that, because I think it spans eternities.
Yeah.
So I think because I think every teaching of things like that is from another old apostasy, right? So maybe there was something about what happens when the next eternity comes through. There could be something like reincarnation. I don't know if it necessarily means coming back as an animal or something. This is pure speculation, by the way, by Brad.
Well, here's one. Really
But that's my
fast.
thought. If there is reincarnation, I think it would be something like that.
So I got a question for Kwaku. Whoa. What? Dog. Tupac's little brother showed up and had a baby with Lil Nas X.
Oh man.
It's better than Arsenio Hall and Jada Pinkett Smith, like Kwaku says. Right? What's up? How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. Well, here, why don't you address our next super chat? By the way, this is John. This is one of Kwaku's buddies here. Holla.
Hello.
So, Ammon Weezer says, Midnight Members sounds like porn.
Yeah, he was correct. I didn't want to say it, and so I'm glad someone else did. I was like, no, we shouldn't do that. We should not do that.
So if we have a name, here actually,
I just wanted to see if they would. I wanted to see if they would notice.
yeah. So the
Oh, okay. So Melon Lore. reposted the thing. Check out the inventor John Worrell Keeley, a 19th century inventor who built devices that are very similar in description to the Liahona. Brass devices that respond to human thought.
Whoa, what is this? Where?
So look up just type it in. John Worrell Keeley
was a 19th century inventor who made invention that were a lot like Liahonas. John Worrell Keeley. Okay, the Caffeinated Saint, thank you for the super chat. Awesome. And Scott Sanders says, John Worrell Keeley. I am literally going on and I am copying this and then I am pasting it all up in this mess.
So we're pulling it up because that sounds freaking awesome.
I'm getting rid of all the pictures of handsome David O. McKay and Christopher Nemelka and this chocolatier who started his own religion and Denver Snuffer and Christy Stevens hammock making in order to paste.
Guys, I think we got to wrap this up.
Yeah, we're done in like 2 minutes. This is the last one right here.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
Any last super chats, get them out of your system because we gonna end this right here, you know.
And FW Willis, please
this guy.
reach out to us. Let us know what specifics you want answered. Because I was thinking that we
Look
had
at this guy. He was making all kinds of stuff.
answered you fairly, but I guess you had other things you wanted to
Can I make a little
discuss.
announcement real quick?
Yeah, what is it?
Oh, Scott Sanders says it's a deep rabbit hole. Maybe we need to do a full episode on this.
Yeah.
Also down the line.
FW Willis, reach out, dude. Reach out. And Kwaku, what's your last statement, bro?
So a lot of people are asking about what was that half British? A lot of people are asking about Stone 16.
Yeah.
And we're getting back to it. I've just been super busy.
Yep.
With my job. Brad has a kid, his job, a wife, he's got a family. And I've been busy starting a second event company that is going to be slightly related to what Stone 16 stuff has already been. So,
cool.
But that one will be a job, so we'll have to be posting more for it. So you'll get your Stone 16 fill
soon.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, we got 30 more seconds for super chats. If we don't get any more super chats, we're literally just going to, boom, shut her down because we got to go to bed. This is Midnight Mormons, but it's past midnight. And the Holy Ghost goes to sleep after midnight.
He doesn't.
And nothing good happens after midnight.
That's true.
He's like, yeah, that's true. That's funny. So anyway, I'm going to look down that deep rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of people say they want to come on the show. But there was one last thing I was going to tell you guys, but I don't remember what it is. Anyway, that's totally fine. Please, we'll just wrap it up right here. If you guys have not subscribed yet to our channel, please make sure that you sub to the channel. Just drop us a sub.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what's kind of crazy about this whole drop us a sub, smash the like button? My freaking 6-year-old daughter says that now. She grabs my wife's phone and she records herself like doing cartwheels in the living room. And when she messes up, she comes up to the camera. She's like, sorry guys, I messed up on that one, but I'm going to do better next time. So smash that like button. And then she like starts doing like cartwheels again. I'm like, dude, she's like a chick with a YouTube channel already.
Oh,
and she's
man.
6 years old. It's pretty crazy. And then they also have found that some babies now, this really, I didn't know whether it broke my heart or if it was crazy or if I thought it was kind of cool. But there was this woman who didn't know what her kid was saying when it was saying goodbye. And she was afraid that the kid was developmentally impaired because it wasn't saying bye-bye or goodbye like other people were. So they took it to a linguist saying like, what is this kid trying to say? Like, we're worried. Has it developed like a speech problem? Because it's not saying bye-bye when we say bye-bye. And you know what the kid was saying?
What?
Like, share, subscribe.
Oh my gosh.
Instead of goodbye, they realized the kid was saying,
oh my
okay,
gosh.
I gotta go now. Like, there's goodbye. Like, there's goodbye. You know what I'm saying? It was mispronouncing.
Shane
Like-
Dawson taught my kid how to speak.
like,
Ooh,
like, share,
bad choice
and
of
subscribe.
YouTuber.
Oh, that's actually what
You know what I'm saying? So anyway,
Drake Bell
yeah.
taught my kid how to sing.
So if you haven't subscribed yet,
Better.
if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Please, before you go, drop a like on this live stream. And please respond in the comments to the live stream, whether or not you enjoyed your experience, what you liked, so on and so forth. Thank you to everybody that's given us a super chat here. We're going to be allowing you to join the channel soon, so you hopefully get members only content. Actually, you will. Like, you'll be able to get maybe the first hour of Jonathan Streeter's conversation with us. We might make that a members only thing. We're not exactly sure yet. We're just spitballing here, and we're just growing with you guys as well. So anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Until the next time. See you in the next video. and stream.
Yes.
Dude,